Infinity has already proved its worth thanks to the trio of adventures that peppered the starter pack. These initial campaigns were varied and fun, yet the true test for Disney's ambitious game is the playsets of the future. As one of the first of these additional expansions, does the Lone Ranger stumble out of the saloon or successfully rustle up our attention? Becoming Disney's largest money loser since John Carter, The Lone Ranger riled critics and was outgunned at the UK box office by a certain DJ from Norfolk. But while The Lone Ranger may have failed to find an audience, this rootin' tootin' playset still works for anyone who enjoys a good Wild West adventure. If you loved the film, hated it, or simply let it pass you by, this playset can be taken at face value as a family-friendly reworking of Red Dead Redemption. The story begins when Bandit Cavendish and his motley crew roll into the town of Colby to cause trouble. You'll explore the Wild West to restore order and deliver justice. Re-teaming iconic lawman the Lone Ranger with Johnny Depp's Apache warrior Tonto, both figures make their Disney Infinity debut with some unique abilities. The Lone Ranger wields dual pistols to excel as a legendary gunslinger, whereas Tonto prefers to throw spinning tomahawks. Building upon Disney's promise to make each playset a distinctive experience, the Lone Ranger unleashes players into a western sandbox filled with mountable horses, rickety towns, and rambunctious criminals. Boasting the largest world of Disney Infinity, the Lone Ranger's dusty western sandbox isn't exactly massive, but feels deceptively open, largely thanks to the freedom to roam on horseback. For those who've aced the 3 playsets of the starter pack, you'll feel right at home at the start of the Lone Ranger. As you explore the town of Colby, you'll take on various missions for locals, eventually travelling further into the west in search of Cavendish and his flunkies. There's still one too many simple fetch quests, yet the Lone Ranger introduces some new concepts that make this playset feel more innovative. Most prominently, the railroad that runs around the world requires maintenance, and you'll build your own trains to aid in the delivery of resources to nearby towns. Graphically, the Lone Ranger continues the charmingly childish style of other playsets, reimagining the film through the eyes of a child. Sadly, many of the quirks and bugs that plagued other playsets are still very much apparent here. Combat isn't exactly Disney Infinity's strong point, and while the action here is more accomplished than prior playsets, it still leaves much to be desired. Gatling guns, which play a large role, feel clumsy, while the staggeringly simple fetch quests may prove insultingly basic, even for younger gamers. Ultimately though, it's hard not to be charmed over by the game's playful take on the recent movie.
He must be stopped.
How can we help, Sheriff?
As with other playsets, the Lone Ranger also introduces many new toys, which can later be used within the toy box mode once unlocked. Along with train carriages, shooting targets and various steeds, the playset unlocks the enjoyable ability to transform into a bird to swoop over the canyons and seek out hidden capsules. The 2 figurines and gadgets add plenty of value, but when the main campaign can be breezed through so quickly, the cost of the playset can still seem a little steep. Completists will easily spend around 6 hours finding every toy capsule, but the short-lived story and lousy final boss battle left us thirsty for more. The film may have been something of a disappointment, yet The Lone Ranger stands out as one of the best, if shortest, playsets for Disney Infinity. The thrill of galloping across the Wild West and dueling with ruffians makes this an enjoyable outing. It's a promising step forward for Disney's entertainment hybrid, yet parents might still need to think twice before wrangling up the required bounty.